Hello everyone, I'm Noel and welcome to Sit Back, Relax, to Blob 2. So to Blob 2 and to Blob 1, because of THQ Nordic trying to revamp their company and bring back some of their best original games, they decided to put it on some new generation consoles and PC, and they're on sale until May 22nd. And so I decided to pick up the Blob 2 and the Blob 1. So I thought I'd play a little bit of the Blob 2. As you can see, I've already played the first 3 levels. The Senate is, this one is probably my favorite level. Yeah, we'll continue from my last checkpoint. I had played this a little bit earlier, and I had to go into settings to enable HDM. I had to enable it so I could record. Let's see, where's it gonna pick me up? Oh, it's gonna pick me up right here. Okay, cool. Dude, I love this game. So, the Blob and the Blob 2, for people who don't know, were games that came out originally. The Blob 1 came out on the Wii, and then it did really popular on the Wii, and so they made a sequel, and it got released on, it was multi-plat. And what it is essentially you're this sort of mysterious, kind of rebellious character, Blob, and he has the ability to not only like bring life to things that he touches, but also color the world. And this whole world, it's basically like, so it's sort of like the best painting platformer that we're ever gonna get. And it's just so, it's not only like super enjoyable to play for just the platforming, but also what's amazing about it is that the music not only increases and decreases with the amount of color that you bring into the world, but it also changes instruments based on what color you are. So like, for example, I'm blue, so when I paint something in blue, you hear a little bit of electric guitar. If I am red, paint something red, saxophone. Orange, a little bit of trumpet going on, maybe that's trombone. Anyway, yeah, and then if I do brown, disc scratches. All right. So the premise of both games essentially is, oh yeah, this is my favorite power, by the way. The premise of both games is to basically just liberate, like the whole world is, like the areas that you visit are being taken over by these kind of like ink aliens or whatever, and they like imprison the world, and they try to like remove color and just take control. And so the premise is you kind of liberate these people by bringing back color and bringing back life into the world. And it's just really enjoyable. I freaking love it, and it ran out. This is my favorite power-up just because it's just so much fun. It for missions, it'll automatically color whatever you need to color, but otherwise it'll just give you random and unlimited color for the time period. I freaking love this game. I think I haven't. This game is a little bit different from the first one, where like the first one, not only is it designed around motion controls, and it's a bit stylistically, it's a bit different. Like it's a bit, some things are a bit smoother, and you can tell it definitely hasn't aged as well as the Blob 2. But it's got some different design elements where, like, for example, the Blob 2 introduced this, like, 2D platforming section, which I really love. I love that they did that. No! But, the Blob 2 the Blob 1 would have sort of, like, a bit more, like, larger open worlds. And while this, the open worlds are slightly smaller, but then you also have these 2D environments, which are interesting as well. And I think the Blob 2 does a good job. I really like, what I like about the Blob 2 is I like the designs of the buildings because they're easier to platform around, and also like textures are better and the sound effects are improved and etc. And also there's multiplayer co-op. It's one of those things where it kind of feels tacked on, where like the second player can control the Blob's assistant Pinky, which can, which she can like shoot things and grab things for you, and it's not exactly as active as Blob is, but if you want something like that, then you can always go into the multiplayer and do Blob Party. God, this game into Blob 1 were one of they never really like cease to bring a smile to my face. Like every time I play these games, they're just so heartwarming. I don't know, there's something so like inspiring about it, because it's just it's one of those like rare AAA games that have a really indie feel to it. And the company that made this game is no longer around, Blue Tongue. And while it was released, this and like, I don't know, Darksiders were like the only original IPs that THQ had. THQ was pretty much known for making every like every video game version of like a TV show or movie, and they make these really cheesy games, and then every now and then they'd publish like these really awesome games like The Blob. The in-game graphics for The Blob 2 definitely is a bit softer shaded than The Blob 1. The Blob 1 has some harsher colors, but I kind of like that. The Blob 2 also has a lot more gameplay mechanics. Like you can upgrade different traits about you. Personally, the more lives, the bigger size, the charge and the armor really come in handy. I don't really want to put too many into lives because I mean it's not that hard, but I mean later it does get harder. Yeah, the shield actually comes in really handy later, so I'm gonna put more into that. Though you don't get the shield until later, but it really does come in handy. A lot of people seem to like the Blob 2 a lot more than the Blob 1, and I think that has to do with the fact that they remove motion controls. Like even the Blob 2 on the Wii doesn't use motion controls. It just uses the Wiimote and the nunchuck. So this is the first time we get to kill. These are the main bad guys in the Blob 1. One thing that I like more in the Blob 1 than Blob 2 though are the designs of some of the ink vehicles. Like these are tanks, but in the Blob 1 they just looked a lot better. I don't know. There's quite a few differences. They take place in different cities. And the first city has a lot of round edges, and this city has a lot of like triangular edges. Oh, see, there's the shield I was just talking about, the armor. Later on, the game kind of really picks up in difficulty, and it's really a benefit to get it. Hello. I like that they did a lot of like really small changes between the games that I really will enjoy. So this is a character, his name's Zip, and in the original The Blob, whenever you get different missions, you'll be able to tell what kind of missions you get based on what kind of like members would assign them to you. So Zip would always give you missions that had to do with like races, but in this one he just kind of gives you Z jump missions. So Z jump is kind of, let me kill that. Yeah, so the Z jumps were introduced in the first game, and they're handy because they let you just zip about. And yeah, and so what I just got there was a style, and yeah, I kind of want to get that. So you get points. So it's a timed open world game where you get points for doing things like painting the world, completing challenges, and the more challenges you complete. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The more time you get to stay in the world, and if you do all the missions and you paint, you'd never really think about the timer. No. You never really think about it. It's just kind of there. Okay, so coming up next is one of my favorite parts of this whole game. I just when the first Blob did this, I really loved it. I just really love painting buildings that are over the water. Like, there's something just really cool about that. I'm glad they put those rails there. It's good level design. They've got a lot better level design than the Blob 1. And the Blob 1, things are kind of random and sporadic and very big. And while that can benefit in some environments, in others it's just frustrating. My favorite, so this is probably my favorite level in the Blob 2. There's a couple others that I absolutely love as well, especially the last one. The last one just goes on forever. But then there's some other ones in the Blob 2, on the Blob 1 that I really love, like the second level, the third level, the fourth level. They involve like cities and downtown areas, and and then the garden level is just such a cool design. Yeah, so the green is like a synth. There's a special name actually for what that kind of music is called, where it changes based on actions that you do. I forget what it's called. I remember seeing it in an article about this, but it's the only game that I know of that does this. If there's other games that do this, I would love to know in the comment section down below, but I don't know. I am going to be doing a Let's Play of this eventually, but I figured, like, I just do a little preview because, oh, really? It does that? Yeah, so ink hurts you, and you can clean it off with water. Anyway, yeah, so I was gonna be doing a Let's Play of this eventually, but probably not soon. But I figured I'd play it because I wanted to replay these games on my PS4, because I just got them for my PS4. I like that they changed. In the original, the ink soldiers costed only 1 point, and now they cost 5, and I kind of like that. It makes them a bit more menacing. Before they were just fodder. They're just really easy. The one thing I hate, but I understand that they changed, is as you may have noticed, there are little ink bots where you can jump on them and they'll color you and they'll give you paint. They'll either give you 10 or they'll give you 50. And I really, in the original, you could run into them and absorb their paint, but in this one, if you try to run into a paint bot, let's see if I can find one. Yeah, if you try to run into a paint bot, see, notice how it doesn't break. It doesn't. I have to target it separately, and so sometimes into Blob 1, it would be frustrating because you'd finally get the right color combination, and then you'd accidentally run over one, and it'd suck. And this one, so they removed that, so that mistake never happens because you have to target it separately. However, it's when you're in the heat of like a boss battle or something, it's really helpful to only have to walk over them. I absolutely love this part. This part was in the demo. Back when the game was first coming out, they released a demo video where in I think Japan or something, they had like an arcade version of this, which would be a really cool thing to get a hold of. But the arcade version of this where you could play this level, and this is what they showed off in it, and I remember watching that and going, man, I'm so glad this game's getting a sequel. This part also is like, if you screw up, like if you land in the water, you gotta start from the beginning. I just love this. It looks so good on the PS4 too. Cause the first time I played it, I played it on the Wii because I played Blob 1 on the Wii, so I was like, yeah, I'll get it on the Wii. It was fun, but and then when I got a PS3, I'm like, yeah, I should get some. I got a PS3 because I want the Jack HD collection, and I was like, yeah, I'll get the Blob 2, I guess. It's a good game. It'd be a good opportunity to play it in HD. But on the PS4, it looks so much better. I'm so glad that THQ Nordic decided to come back. See here, if the Blob 1 mechanics were in, I would hit this thing and it would ruin my brown color, make me turn red. Oh yeah, I think this is the first time I didn't mess this up. Yeah, so those guys will try to hypnotize you. No, yes, those guys will try to hypnotize you into falling into ink. However, there's no ink around, so they'll just make me fall into water. They did a good job of, like, in the original they didn't have too many types of the inklings, but the ink invaders. But in this one they've got a lot of types because they sort of like they get booted off the planet and the end of the Blob 1, and then they kind of work their way back in secret into Blob 2. And they set themselves up as a cult. It's cool how they work in like actual convincing story. This is one of those games that just oh yeah, so this is one of those games where there's not many levels. There's about 9 levels, same as the last game, but they are purple. But they're very long. They're about like an hour long if you really put the work into it. You can breeze through this, but then you won't get the highest score. Like basically, you can beat all the levels early and get a C ranking, but if you want to get an A ranking, then you have to stick around. But each one of the levels has their own original song, and man, it is just so awesome. I'm so glad that they do like a sort of reimagining of the first song in the first level, which is and the first Blob, they had a song called Bliss, and they sort of have a similar one. It's like a very tropical kind of environment. Okay, oh, interesting. Okay, is there any yellow? Is there any yellow nearby? Okay, there's yellow. It did such a good job with this game. Whoever said, you know what, this would be great as a 2D side scroller. Genius. Because these are some of the best parts of the game, and they get really intense later on. Yeah. Yeah, just being able to do that is so much fun. Is there? Oh yeah, there's a gap here. And this is the best part. I like the redesign of the transform, but I sort of like the original as well. But I love what they do, and I love what they do afterwards. The Blob 2, this is like one of my favorite sound effects in just games in general. That like charge up, and I just love it. And then at the end he does that little thing, and it's just, oh, it's great. Yeah, I always skip through those just because I can't. Like, they have their own kind of made-up language, and it's not super necessary. I mean, it's funny the first time, but after I played this game so many times, just I can't. The controls also work so much better with the controller. I mean, it works fine with the waggle tech, but with the controller, it's just so more consistent. Okay, so there should be a power up down here. So you may have noticed that there are these little guys with the paintbrushes over them. So those are well, I guess those are gradients. So they're basically people that were captured, and they're in these suits that they're basically so they can get pumped with ink, so they can get their color taken away. And you can free them by giving them color and jumping on them. Are you gonna come down, elevator? Yeah, they added these. Yeah, see, there it is. Yeah, they added these elevator mechanics in this game too, and I just love it. Apparently, both versions of the game are going to be coming to the Switch, which is cool, but I would rather have it on PS4. I have I need blue. I have I have the Blob 1 on. Oh yeah, we're gonna unlock the vault. I love this part too. This is probably this is definitely one of the best levels. I have the Blob 1 on PC, and I have the Blob 2 on PS3. But I really just, I think I thought it was good that I got them both on PS4 because I like playing my PS4 a lot. I found that I should end up playing my PS4. I end up using my PS4 to play games I already owned in the past, but hey, you know what? I get my use out of it. Red. Alright, now we need purple. Aw, yeah. Woo! Yeah, they add these cool color items to the Blob 2. They just like give you extra points, and sometimes you need to collect them to complete challenges, but they're cool. Just visually, and like the sound and look of this game are just, I can't say enough about it. I was thinking about doing I've been planning some like high quality content series where cause like we have the Let's Plays and stuff, but there are some things that I feel rather passionate about, and I feel like they would deserve their own video, where like I take like a week to make them or whatever, or like to edit them, and I'd release them alongside other things as well, like the Let's Plays, but I don't know, like I was thinking about having like a series where I explain why this specific thing is just so brilliant. And I really love to do one for the Blob, just to give it credit, because not many people know about this game, and I think they really should, and I think they should know why it's just such a brilliant game. And it'd be like an analysis video where I talk about all the really positive and clever things about it, but not to the point where I just gush uncontrollably. It'd be reasonable, but not like, wouldn't just be an analysis video. It kind of like not like Cinema Wins, the positive version of Cinema Sins, but kind of like, I don't know, just think like the Treasure Planet video, the one that it's called Treasure Planet was Disney's biggest mistake. It's one of my favorite videos. It basically explains why Treasure Planet is like the best Disney animated movie, or one of the best ones, and it goes into detail about why it basically failed, and the theory is that it was just so expensive, Disney kind of failed it on purpose so that they could have an excuse to just not make 2D anymore, because that and like two or three more movies after that. I think 2 were the last 2D movies that Disney ever made. And it's pretty sad. I love the voice of the sidekick. I think giving Blob a sidekick was a really cool idea. Yeah, so I love how they did that, where you can go into the little bubble and it'll save you. I think that's just great. So the original The Blob one had a lot of these heat plates, and you see them more later, like there's heat plates, and electric plates. No, and there's an added challenge for platforming, and then also like see how like there's a little electricity right there. There are areas that are like you can't touch to change, because they're like mechanical. They would shock you like that. It'd be a little shock effect. Ooh, that's a yeah. I sort of like how they added the paint pools. I think that's a nice touch. They had paint pools and paint sprays. So the sprays will change your color but not give you any depth. Like they won't add to your ink pool. But then the pools you can absorb to your max in, which is pretty nice. In the first level, you get pretty much only paint pools, because it's kind of like, it's sort of like easing you into the game. But later, unlike the first The Blob, which never had the paint pools, it just had the little ink bots. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, if you get down to low health, then you die. And then if you run out of lives, you have to restart the whole level, which can be very frustrating when you play the level for like an hour and then you die on like a really difficult part. Even though there's only a normal and an easy mode, the normal mode can get difficult at times. The only thing that I found weird, how like all of the citizens are so like tiny compared to Blob, but then in the cutscenes he looks sort of normal size, and I don't know, it's a little odd. I'm gonna kill that TV. The funny part though is the Blob 1's missions are really easy to memorize, and so you can complete a lot of the missions ahead of the time. And so what happens is, in this game and the last game, whenever you do a mission before it's assigned, and you go to the little checkpoint for the guy to tell you, hey, this is your mission, they'll be like, oh, you already did it, okay, and they'll just give you an extra reward. I think that's cool. So I've played The Blob 1 so many times. The first couple of levels, I already sort of remember which areas need painting, because a lot of the missions just involve painting building specific colors, and this one they're a bit more versatile, and so it'd be easy to remember, and so I just do them ahead of time and then go back, and it's really funny. This game definitely had a big influence on me as a kid, because I would always like draw the characters. Like I've got a picture of the Blob up on my cork board from like I drew in like 7th grade or whatever. I don't know, there's something, I just love the design. I think it's just a really good design. This guy is thick. This guy costs what, 10 or 15? 15, yeah. I just think they have really good designs. I think they would be such a good, like, what? Why won't you let me charge? Oh, that's right. I like how you can do like partly. So like I had a little bit of ink, so I brought it down. I can't say enough about this game. It's just so good. Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure we got to paint the side buildings. Yeah, I do. Okay, I gotta be orange. There we go. So something clever that this game does that I really think is cool is they'll place, so you can target to things, and sometimes there'll be buildings that are slightly, they're kind of a risk to jump to, but then they'll place things that you can target on, like a paint bot, and so that you can get there with security. And I think that's just really good game design. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is the end of the level. Sometimes, so either like right before the end of the level, Pinky will be like, hey, do you want to stick around the island and do things, or do you want to proceed to the end level? And but then sometimes you do the end part, and then you have the option to stick around or leave just there and finish the level, like go to the menu. But this is definitely the end part, I'm pretty sure. Hello. Yeah, they had these turrets into Blob 1. I'm glad they brought them back. The mortars. Although you don't see them until, like, end game. Like, you see them a lot in the last couple levels. The space... I like... They keep a lot of... Yeah, so see how the armor blocked that one hit? No. I like how both... They sort of mirror each other. Like, the first game has the tropical island level as the first level, and then they move to the city. And then later on, they go to Carnival, and then they have like a water level or whatever. And then the last level is in space. And for this, they take a lot of influence from Super Mario Galaxy, which I really love. How they start involving like anti-gravity pads for walls, and I think, and they do it really well. Like, they sort of make, it's not like, they never really feel like they're copying other platformers. They sort of make it their own, and you can see where they were inspired from. Oh, those little bubbles. Booyah. Oh, maybe there is one more. Oh, you know what? That's right. We're at the Senate, so the last one is going to be at the Capitol. Yeah, it's this one. My favorite level... Actually, you know, my favorite level probably in the Blob. Yeah, so they won't attack me because I don't have any color right now, but as soon as I get color, they'll try to attack me. One of my favorite themes from, like, songs from the first Blob was called Revolutionary, and it's like this kind of Hispanic sounding, why want it? Oh, brown. Oh, I thought that was orange. There's a blue over here, right? Yeah. And it's so good, and that level is so amazing. But it's like towards the very end, and I'd probably play that for another sit back, relax. If I do a sit back, relax, it's Blob 1. If I get to that level, I'll play it for that. I'd also love to do the Blob 1. Actually, the Blob 1 was the first video game I ever recorded. It was back in middle school. I had my own smaller YouTube channel where I'd make like origami videos. Yeah, and I posted the Blob like mini missions or whatever, where there'd be like the challenges, and I was like, at the time I was like, you know, nobody's posted this on the internet, I'll post it. And it was really, really bad because, because I only the only thing I had to record was a flip phone. Where am I supposed to? Oh, I'm supposed to go that way. And it was a disaster. So I didn't have it. Oh no, I didn't have a tripod. And so the only thing I had to record was the flip phone. So I would have to, originally I stacked books, and then I set my phone on top of that, and it's so bad, but I thought it was good at the time. Later on, those ink guys become a lot more formidable because they introduce an ink soldier that can only be killed with a specific color. Oh, there's life there. Oh, there's Chromat Black. Later, eventually, just that's the only thing that ever shows up. That are the rocket guys, and my god, I can't stand the rocket guys because they're just really difficult to kill in the Blob one. I don't want to go for that. Whatever. Where am I gonna get yellow? Is there yellow down here? Oh, there is. Okay. Whee! Squish. The one thing what I think is interesting is the only time you can't target something is when it's above you. But you can target things below you or to the side of you. Whee! Boss fight time. Yeah, for the last time, sure. I don't have enough ink for that. This soundtrack was never released officially, which I think is a shame because this and the first game soundtrack is just so good. But you can find it on YouTube, and I highly recommend you give it a listen. It's not exactly listening to the soundtrack, like just the official tracks, isn't really the same as playing it in game, because in game you get to change it yourself with the different colors and then you know how it changes with the environment, but it's good. Rip that guy. Oh no, he caught on. And what's cool also is you get when every level unlocks a new sound in the soundtrack, and you can select what sound you want every time you play a level. And so if you find one in particular you absolutely love, then you can just play that one every time. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. Yep, I'm right at end. And so you'll see I won't get the A ranking. Also, I freaking love how wherever the Blob goes in game, you don't see it right here, but in game and sometimes in cutscenes, a little arrow follows him. I love that. I think that should be in more things. I just think arrow as a design is really good. And so yeah, you'll see I get a C rank, but as long as you complete a level, you pretty much get a C rank, and then you unlock a new Blob Party mode. Blob Party is like the multiplayer where you can like play with friends and do little challenges, and it's fun. You can all play as the Blob. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm Noel, and I'll see you guys soon.